Good evening, everybody, and welcome to this edition of The News. Title unbeknown to me right now. Hope you're all doing well. I hope everybody's got through their weekend okay. I hope everybody is coping with, well, certainly here where I am, the bad weather. I'm doing fine, thank you very much. God, isn't time flying, or is it just me? I just looked on my channel and it's already been 10 or so days since I last put out a video, which is mad because it feels literally like a few days ago. It's just, I don't know if it's just me. I've spoken to quite a few people about this and everybody seems to be feeling the same way as me about it, that I know we all say time flies, or time seems to be passing us by at a rate of knots, especially when we get older, blah, blah. But yeah, I don't know, I just have this feeling that it's going a bit quicker than normal. But anyway, what can you do? Just a few announcements to make, really. One or two good ones and a few to be handled a bit cynically, let's say, because why wouldn't we? So first of all, let's start with the good ones. I mean, it will end good anyway, because, you know, our take on what I'll be announcing on the other couple of things will be what we've been talking about now for the last 2-3 years anyway. Falls right in line with an agenda, a very large one. But getting to the original announcement, I've got to make, there is going to be a Flat Earth meetup again this Tuesday, talking about time flying, the 25th of October at 7 p.m. at the Globe Inn in Swanage. I can't believe I'm already announcing this third. Is this the third one or the fourth one? I can't even remember. The fourth one. And yeah, already a month has elapsed. It's mad. But anyway, that is coming up this Tuesday, and I can kind of already mention that, as you know, Ian Leahy is the man to kind of contact. I forgot to mention him by name in my last video when I was talking about the upcoming meetup. But anyway, Ian Leahy would be the guy to, of course, speak to. Otherwise, you can contact me as well, you know, through Instagram, Facebook, and you know, we'll leave a comment on, you know, here on the video. But what we are kind of looking at is we want to get some banners done, printed, that sort of thing, and we would like to soon start doing some activism, some flat earth / burden of proof is on you lot kind of yeah, initiative in and around the area where we are situated, which is the south coast of England, so sort of Dorset. It's right next to, above and next to the Isle of Wight. If you're looking at the south coast of England, to the left of that, it's called the Jurassic Coast, and there are quite a few places down there, some stunning areas. I'm sure I've mentioned it before, some amazing areas, some unexplainable countryside, some strange buildings in strange locations, and all that sort of stuff, the seclusion of it all, some parts of that area and everything else. It's a very, very fascinating area. But anyway, I digress. But yeah, we want to then do that and sort of do a bit of activism here, there and everywhere if possible. I don't think anybody should be waiting around for a tour to commence before perhaps sharing their thoughts and stuff, or, you know, making a decision to go out and actually interact with people. And I can say from my experience, and Ian knows this as well, and anybody who has done this will know, that it's not as hostile as people might think when you're out on the street talking to people. It all depends on how you approach the conversation. Whereas if you're online, the chances are you're going to be either finding yourself in an echo chamber if it goes on for too long and everybody's telling each other how marvelously open-minded they are, or they're confronted by what we affectionately call globetards or globeheads, who are just in there to basically obfuscate and troll. Some, I'm sure, for more sinister reasons than others, or motives, let's say. But then I have no proof of that, so you have to be careful claims to make. You know, they should maybe learn that, shouldn't they? claiming we're on a ball. But yeah, anyway, so there we go. I was going off on a tangent again. But that's it for me, from my perspective. It's easier and much more fulfilling and rewarding to actually stand in front of somebody, white to the eyes, have a chat, body language, all that sort of thing. You've got the aid of some banners and that sort of thing, where you can, lead somebody over there and have a chat if they show an interest. You don't just go out amongst people and sort of grab them. You kind of, But anyway, that's what we're hoping to do. So I'm definitely on board with that. So that will be discussed probably in more detail this coming Tuesday. So if anybody wants to be part of that, either physically or maybe has some ideas and all the rest of it, then please do get in touch with either Ian or myself. Next Tuesday, 25th of October, 1900 hours at the Globe Inn in Swanage. Right. Speaking of announcements, excuse me, I came across a couple of very interesting things today, but I'll get a couple of the old classics out of the way. First of all, I kept an eye a little bit over the weekend on some mainstream spewage, and a few things popped up almost with very disturbing regularity, actually. One of them, which will please all parents and kids alike, is that officially now school funding is going to be in jeopardy in the UK very soon. Well, I never. Profound or what, hey? Fancy that. And adding to that, which of course would force my hand into homeschooling if that was the case. I mean, I would be homeschooling anyway if my daughter was living with me. I would not be sending her to a school. Absolutely no way on earth would that be happening. So perhaps the school funding in jeopardy thing could be a blessing in disguise. Who knows? Every cloud and all that. But anyway, that was quite an interesting thing that the British Broadcasting Corporation decided to kind of run on their under the wall ticker that goes along, right? That hypnotic loop, we'd call that in music. Anyway, so that is one of those little snippets that were drip fed to us over the weekend. And of course, that all comes in line with this whole Conservative Party / Prime Minister nonsense that's going on right now in the UK. Talk about trying to force feed distractions upon people. The media really, really are going some at the moment. But anyway, that is definitely something that is most bizarre. The timing of it, of course, is very bizarre. Think about what just happened over the last few months. From the Jubilee in June, the Queen's Jubilee that is, via a death / funeral, lying in state, all that sort of stuff, all the symbology that came with that. And now we have this messing around and a switch of Prime Minister in between all of that nonsense. And goodness knows what else. Oh yeah, and a war and a couple of other things. But, that is what their job is. And we have to be aware of that. I'm just checking the clock, that's all. And as long as we are aware of that, it's like driving a car, isn't it? The mirrors are there to be used. Use your wing mirrors. Just like, check your surroundings. And that includes the media that you're accessing and people you're listening to. I know we all know that in theory, but how many people, well, I mentioned this last time when I was talking about the fear factor, how many people still post on, or forward stuff that's come from mainstream, cherry picking the headlines that suit them. If it's a terrible headline, then they'll tell everybody in the community it's a terrible headline. And if it's a positive one, they'll tell everybody there might be hope. Still coming from the same source. So we have to be really, really aware. And I'd like to emphasize that point because it's very, very deceptive, everything, and very subtle, Anyway, so I thought I'd mention that. And I wrote this down actually, that one of the guys who is going for Conservative Party leadership and thus Prime Minister is a guy called Sunak. And he has already made a big deal out of saying that, and I quote, that the hardships that, the biggest challenges are yet to come, and we're going to have much bigger challenges than during the pandemic. Those were his words. Not we may have, we will have, blah, blah. Now, I'm not saying that because he said something, you should believe him. What I'm saying, you have to, how can I say it, use your discernment on what is believable and what not, what is a bit of predictive kind of warning to cover themselves, and what is just simple BS, which is most of it. But anyway, that was quite an interesting comment, a bit of OTT, I thought, because we all have eyes and ears and we can all see what's going on. We see the prices going through the roof and all that sort of stuff. So watch this space, I guess, is the moral of that story. But that was quite interesting that he decided to make a song and dance about that. I think he's trying to already propel himself or place himself in the eyes of the public, the uninitiated, the profound, the vulgar, as they're called in certain literature and certain circles, or are they squares? But he's obviously putting himself on a pedestal by making those such announcements, because things will be put in place for that to maybe happen a little bit and consolidate even him as a figurehead and to be believable. After everything that's happened, people will still fall for this nonsense. It just baffles the brain. But, as they say, bullshit baffles brains, doesn't it? That's what it's there for. So there we go. So really what they're doing is, it's the classic thing of order out of chaos, create the problem yourself, wait for the reaction of the public to then turn up on your white horse and offer the solution that everybody is craving for. Classic tactics, and they'll be rolled out for us all to enjoy, because most of us will be participating, try saying that on a Sunday afternoon, in it. Some willingly, some of us unwillingly. There'll be plenty of flying monkeys amongst that lot. Anyway, thought I would just mention that. Another thing that has come from UK, quite interesting, is a video I came across. I know I accessed the big bad internet and not to be trusted YouTube, and I came across an official video, actually, from the police, funny enough, or police were participating in it, and they were showcasing new technology that's being rolled out on British roads very, 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 very soon. And what it is it's a brand new camera system that they're going to be mounting on poles sticking out of vans, or small vans or whatever, that will be either parked on the side of the road or be driving, mingling amongst the traffic, whatever. And they have the capabilities, so the police officer, to look into the cab of your car and be able to see whether you are handling your phone or not, because it's so dangerous to be handling your phone in a car that they now have to have these intrusive methods, like, we don't have them already. Digital motorways being rolled out soon. Everything's smart systemed up. But anyway, this is going to be a lovely additive to all of that. And yeah, quite an interesting one. I'm going to leave the link to that video in the description below. It's about 10 minutes long, I think, something like that. You have to watch the whole lot. First few minutes will do, but it's quite interesting. It's a couple of weeks old, actually. Because I do remember doing a video a few weeks ago about the highway code and stuff like that, because there's already mention in the highway code of driverless cars. So as you can see, the technological framework is kind of in place and it's ready to go, pretty much. So I thought I would just mention that. So you have added to cameras on every street corner, facial recognition cameras, smart meters at your home, your gadgets you're carrying around with you in your pocket, your smart TVs, your, I don't know, cook me a dinner gadget you've got in a corner that's got the lovely female voice that answers back to you, and all that sort of stuff. You've got these listening devices literally everywhere. But yeah, everybody kind of rolls with it, don't they? Because, I mean, we can't do anything about it. But I thought I would just bring that one to you. That's quite an interesting one. So, you might open a letter one day and there'll be a photo of whatever you were or accused of being or having been getting up to in your car when this wagon drives past and takes some nice interior shots. Another thing that is also affecting the UK, because it will, is another announcement, and it's a war one. You know, you do need a war. It's very important. Gives the headlines a bit of spice. And this particular announcement, of course, is Ukraine, and of course is our friends, the Russians. And they have now talked about widespread power outages in Ukraine because of concerted Russian efforts via attacks and such like. I thought Ukraine were winning back the whole region a couple of weeks ago. Certainly on my last video or the video before. I'm losing track. I'm losing track of the score. Must check my scoreboard. But as far as I know, I think Ukraine were 2-1 up or something at half time. Can't remember. I must check. But anyway, as it happens, the Russians have made a few changes. You're allowed to bring on 5 subs now. In their case, submarines probably. And yeah, they've tilted the balance. They've redressed it, and suddenly they're on the march. I can hear that Cossack music now. Yeah, so that's quite interesting. And so, of course, the knock-on effect of that is going to be that's going to affect our fuel, isn't it? Because they're the regions where allegedly we're getting our fuel from, even though we have a lot of our oil rigs and stuff in the Atlantic. Still not getting that. Is BP Russian? Shell? I can't remember now. But anyway, so I thought I'd just mention that. So be prepared for more of that. So not only are the prices going to go up, but they're also going to have less of the stuff that it's going up for. Whatever it's going to be. This will be petrol. It will be lots of other things as well. Forewarned is forearmed, I guess. So sell your cars. You know. I thought I would mention that. And, you know, I was thinking as well while reading that whatever happened to EMP weapons? I mean, why would you bomb a country's infrastructure into smithereens to then have to rebuild it again yourself? I thought Russia was this high-tech opponent of ours that we've been fearing for 50-odd years. Well, you know, you would just knock out the electricity, wouldn't you? You wouldn't go around blowing everything up. Doesn't make sense. And it's not how battles are fought nowadays. But that's a story for another day. Anyway, yeah, I thought that was interesting, so I thought that was worth a mention. I'm just looking to see if there's anything else I wanted to mention. There were 1 or 2 other things I would mention, but I'm going to leave it for the moment because I am running out of time. I thought I could do a video in about 6 or 7 minutes, but yeah, I do have a bit to say for myself. I do know that, but so apologies for that. Well, I will leave it at that. I will check back after the meetup on Tuesday, probably towards the end of the week, and give you a little rundown, update, feedback of what happened. I think there'll be some of you that will be interested in that. And then we can take it from there, I guess. I'm all up for initiatives. The more of them we can do,